This book is from the Small Worlds collection. It's called In a Backyard. The author is Dr. Jen Green. This is a nonfiction book about the natural world. There is a table of contents telling us, for example, that flying visitors, that's what we're going to find on page 16, tells us who the team of people were, all these people who helped work on this book, choosing the photographs and giving Jen Green the information for her to write a nonfiction book around. And together, Jen Green, the photographers, and the people on the publishing team have created a book about learning about life in the backyard. Backyards of the world. You do not need to visit a zoo or the countryside to see wild animals. Hundreds of animals live right in your own backyard. Backyards around the world are home to many different kinds of animals, including mammals, birds, insects, reptiles, and amphibians. Some backyard animals are big, but most are small, so you have to look carefully to find them. This book will introduce you to some of the species or types of animals that live in backyards and gardens throughout North America. And here are 3 photo captions. This photo caption tells us about this cat. Not all the animals you see in your backyard are wild. This pet cat is on the lookout for small birds and mammals, such as shrews or mice, to chase. This caption is about coyotes. Coyotes, some people say coyotes. Coyotes are dog-like animals common in most of North America. This one has entered a backyard and is sniffing around the door of the house. People don't like having coyotes so close to them, and they really don't like their cousins, the coy wolf, either. Not so close. This caption is about the big photo here, and it says, some animals prefer big, overgrown gardens. Others like tiny areas in crowded cities. Whatever its size, your backyard is a small world with wildlife. Life in the backyard. And one of the main points of this book is there's so much to find. There's so much to find on this page. All animals need food, water, and shelter. Your backyard provides all of these, making it a great place for many animals. Different types of animals live in different areas of your backyard. Worms, ants, and moles live under the lawn. Centipedes, snails, sow-bugs lurk under stones and in damp corners. Woodpiles may attract snakes and lizards. Toads, frogs, and newts visit garden ponds. Wasps, bats, and spiders prefer to live in backyard sheds. Here's a few of the names. A falcon, a mockingbird, an opossum, a crow, songbirds, a house cat, a hummingbird, a bat, a mouse, a dragonfly, a pond turtle, a frog, a newt, a lizard, a mole, 2 snails, a Norway rat, a stag beetle, an earwig, a worm, a centipede, a slug, maybe a snake or a salamander here, it's a little hard to tell. A monarch butterfly caterpillar right here. A ladybug. An aphid. Aphids on these leaves. A garden spider. A bee. A rabbit. A monarch butterfly. Another spider on a web. Baby robins. There's the mama robin. A skunk. A raccoon. A squirrel. A chipmunk, a downy woodpecker, a fox, a field rat, another monarch butterfly, and fox mama and her kit, So many wonderful animals in the backyard. 3 special sections. This describes creepers and crawlers. Even small backyards are home to thousands of insects, spiders, and other small animals. This is about flying visitors. Birds visit your backyard to hunt worms, slugs, and insects, or to peck at seeds and breadcrumbs you have left out for them. And this says animals big and small. Squirrels are tree-dwelling mammals that are active in the daytime. Larger mammals such as deer and foxes might visit the yard at night. Creepers and crawlers. Insects are the most common animals in your backyard. Some are nuisance, while others are helpful to gardeners. The creepy crawlers in your garden include many insects such as ants, earwigs, beetles, dragonflies, and butterflies. Insects eat all kinds of food, including plants and other insects. Some beetle grubs dig into logs and tree trunks to eat wood. Other insects eat dung or the remains of dead animals. And 3 little photo captions here. This is for this photo. The hoverfly looks like a bee or wasp. Hoverflies get their name because they hover over flowers before climbing in to collect the nectar. This one's for this picture. Fast and agile, dragonflies are acrobats of the air. Their 2 pairs of wings do not work as one unit, but flap as pairs, a little bit like the helicopter from the Mars Perseverance rover. And the last photo caption is about this beautiful monarch butterfly. Monarch butterflies enter backyards in the fall during their lengthy migrations south, and in the summer as they fly north again. 2 big sections here of scientific information. The first one, the beauties and the pests. The second one, insect homes. The beauties and the pests. Beetles are the largest group of insects. They include ladybugs, June beetles, weevils, and large stag beetles with mouthparts that look like deer antlers. In spring, male stag beetles wrestle with each other for the chance to mate with a female. If your backyard has a pond in it or a stream nearby, dragonflies might be around. These large insects are fierce predators that hunt other insects while flying. Butterflies are some of the most beautiful insects that visit your yard. The colorful markings on their wings are formed by thousands of tiny scales. Many of these insects feed on flower nectar, which they suck using their long straw-like mouthparts. They flutter around colorful shrubs and flowers such as lantana and daisies. Insects such as aphids and black flies are gardeners' least favorite visitors. Aphids suck the sap from plants. They can cause a lot of damage to some flowers, such as roses. In warm weather, these pests breed very quickly and can infest entire neighborhoods. Insect homes. Most types of insects do not live together in large numbers, but all ants and some bees and wasps live in groups called colonies. In early summer, you may discover an ant's nest in the backyard. The nest contains at least one large female ant called the queen, who spends her time laying eggs. All the other ants are her children. They are mostly female workers who look after and feed the young ants and the queen. They also clean, guard the nest, and search for food outside. A beehive works in a similar way to an ant colony. It has a queen bee, a few males called drones, and thousands of female workers. Some fantastic facts, little extra bullet point factoids. Most insects are dull green or brown and are able to hide easily among vegetation. Second one, some wasps and bees have bright yellow and black stripes, which warn people and other animals that they have a painful sting. It makes them look like they're wearing rugby jerseys. And 3 photo captions. This one points in this direction. Male stag beetles use their large antler-like mouthparts to fight other males. Here are 2 of them fighting. Number 1, number 2. Who's going to win? This photo caption is all about the ladybug. Ladybugs feed on sap-sucking aphids. These red and black beetles help keep the number of pesky aphids down. And then this photo caption is about the ants. These worker ants are carrying a young, developing ant to a safer place in their nest. This page continues what we were learning about insect homes right here, and then moves on to cycle of life. The worker bees collect nectar from flowers and bring it back to the nest to make honey. They also collect pollen to eat. As the bees fly from plant to plant, they carry pollen from one flower to another, helping the plants make their seeds. In this way, bees help your garden grow. And now the cycle of life. Bees, beetles, ants, and butterflies have 4-stage life cycles. From eggs, they hatch into caterpillars or legless grubs such as maggots. These larvae feed and grow and become pupae, after which they emerge as adults. The change from larva to adult is called metamorphosis. Butterfly pupae grow into adults inside hard coverings called chrysalises. The text continues here. You will see more insects in your garden in the summer than in the winter. Queen wasps, ladybugs, and butterflies live in sheds and woodpiles in the winter, but the cold kills most insects. Although many of the adults do not make it, their eggs and pupae survive in the soil and hatch the next spring. More fantastic facts. Aphids release a sweet liquid called honeydew after sucking sap from plants. Second fantastic fact. Ants love sweet foods. They milk aphids for honeydew and sometimes collect the aphids to keep near their nest. Caption here for this diagram. This diagram shows the egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, and adult stages of a monarch butterfly. So first, the butterfly puts some butterfly eggs, usually on the underside of a leaf, and those eggs turn into a caterpillar. That caterpillar builds a little chrysalis for itself, and inside is the pupa that the caterpillar turns into. From that chrysalis, a butterfly emerges, and then you get a butterfly. And then finally on this page, we get a section about the backyard at nighttime. Many backyard animals cannot be seen during the day. Snails, sow-bugs, centipedes, and many other species are mostly nocturnal or active at night. Moths, such as the white-lined sphinx moth, shown below here, this one, are nighttime flyers. Night flyers are attracted to light and flutter around windows. Fireflies flash their little lights, making the yard look magical. Flashing is the way fireflies speak to each other and attract mates. So on this page, there are 2 big sections. This one is damp hideaways and venomous hunters. And another section starts over on this page, slugs, snails, and worms. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 photo captions. Deep hideaways and venomous hunters. Sow-bugs, centipedes, and millipedes like damp, dark places in the backyard. They hide under stones during the day and look for food at night. Centipedes are predators. They hunt small insects on their many legs and stab prey with their fangs. Sow-bugs and millipedes are slow-moving herbivores that feed on rotting plants. Spiders belong to the group of animals called arachnids. Arachnids also include scorpions. Spiders hunt insects and other spiders for food. Many spiders catch their prey by weaving webs of sticky thread. Most spiders paralyze their prey by injecting poison or venom with their fangs. Some spider venom is strong enough to make a person very sick. Luckily, these spiders do not usually live in our backyards. And then the second section here about slugs, snails, and worms. Slugs and snails are invertebrates, or animals without a spine, and they have soft, slimy bodies. Snails have a hard shell for protection, but slugs have only a small shell inside their body, or no shell at all. They move along on their wide, flat bellies, leaving a slimy trail behind. At night, slugs and snails nibble garden plants, especially areas of new growth. Most gardeners see slugs and snails as pests. Earthworms are long, thin, legless animals that live underground. A large yard can contain thousands of worms. Worms tunnel through the earth by swallowing soil and digesting the plant and animal matter it contains. The waste soil passes through the worm's body and is pushed up to the ground surface, leaving a worm cast on the lawn. Unlike most slugs and snails, earthworms are very good for the garden. Photo captions. Although they resemble beetles, sow-bugs are not insects. They are related to water-living crabs, shrimp, and lobsters. Banded garden spiders live in parks and yards across most of North America. They catch flying insects in their sticky webs, which they spin in bushes and shrubs. Snails rest during the day. They gather in dark, damp places out of the drying sun. And worms help mix the soil and allow air and water to reach the lower levels. Worms improve the soil for growing plants, which makes gardeners happy. This page has 3 photo captions, but it's about flying visitors. Birds are among the most colorful animals to visit your backyard. At dusk, you can also see fluttering bats as they hunt moths and other insects flying in the darkening sky. There are more than 9,000 different species of birds in the world. To help study them, scientists divide birds into 27 different groups called orders. The largest order is the songbirds, with more than 5,000 species. Songbirds include most of the birds that visit your backyard, such as crows, starlings, thrushes, chickadees, and finches. This woodpecker pecks at the tree bark for insects. It grips the tree trunk tightly with its clawed feet. These birds, this flock of birds, talked about here, flocks of starlings gather in backyards to feed on seeds, worms, insects, and snails. And then finally, blue jays, such as this baby blue jay, are among the noisiest backyard birds. They are found in yards, parks, and woodlands in eastern North America. You probably have heard them screeching in your own backyard. Three big sections here: garden bird song, flocking together, and color in the garden. Garden bird song. Songbirds are also known as perching birds. Their feet have 3 toes facing forward and 1 facing backward. This arrangement helps the birds lock their feet securely around branches so they do not fall off when resting at night. The beautiful sounds of bird songs can be heard in most backyards, even in big cities. Their chorus is loud in the evening and even louder at dawn when the birds wake up. Mockingbirds are songbirds that mimic the calls of other birds and can be heard in backyards across North America. Flocking together. House sparrows and starlings are common in city gardens. These birds originally lived only in Europe, Africa, and Asia. Now they are widespread in North America too. House sparrows and starlings live in flocks, which helps protect them from danger. As the flock feeds, the birds take turns to check for predators. If one bird spies a hawk, the whole group takes off together. Color in the garden. Cardinals, bluebirds, and robins are among the most colorful songbirds in your garden. Like many bird species, the females are less colorful than the males. For example, female eastern bluebirds are very dull in color, but males have a bright blue back and a red chest. The males are bright to attract and impress the females. The females need dull colors to hide on the nest. Hummingbirds are small, dainty birds that brighten backyard gardens during the spring and summer months. They are named for the humming sound their wings make as they flutter up and down at great speed. Their flapping wings help the birds stay still in the air. Hummingbirds build tiny cup-shaped nests in which to lay their eggs. 3 fantastic fact bullet points. First, songbirds sing to let other birds know they are in the area. Second, male mockingbirds sing all day and sometimes at night. Third bullet point. Different songbirds have different songs, so birds of a species can recognize each other. Photo captions. Northern mockingbirds are the state bird of 5 U.S. states. And even though Harper Lee wrote a very famous novel with Mockingbird in its title that's set in Alabama, the 5 states that have the mockingbird as their state bird are Arkansas, Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and Mississippi. This northern cardinal is easily identified as a male because it is bright red. The female cardinal is brown. Hummingbirds use their flying skills to hover around flowers. Their long bill helps them reach the sweet nectar inside. Nesting times. Throughout the seasons, birds follow a breeding cycle, which you can see in your own backyard. As the weather warms in spring, the birds sing loudly to find mates and set up breeding areas. Then they pair up, build their nests, and lay their eggs. When the eggs hatch, parent birds bring food to the nestlings, or baby birds. In the summer, you can see young birds hopping after their parents on the lawn, or practicing their flying skills. Other bird visitors. Blue jays, magpies, and crows are all members of the same family. These intelligent, adaptable birds feed on a wide range of foods, including insects, reptiles, frogs, and small mammals. Some bird species in your backyard live there all year. Others visit only at certain times of the year. Different species may drop into your yard as they fly north or south on long migrations. In the spring, swallows arrive to nest and raise their chicks in North America. In the fall, some species of swallows fly south to South America to spend the winter in a warmer place. Flying mammals. Flying bats can also be found in some backyards. Unlike birds, bats have no feathers. Their wings are covered by skin instead. Bats are nocturnal and spend the daylight hours asleep in sheds, hollow trees, or attics. They leave their roost at night to hunt for food. Bats cannot see very well at night, but they have excellent hearing. They track their insect prey using echolocation. As the bat flies through the air, it produces high-pitched clicking sounds. The sound waves from these clicks spread out and bounce off objects such as flying insects. The bat listens for the returning echoes, targets its prey, and swoops in for the kill. The echoes also help the bat steer a safe course through the air around obstacles such as trees. Bats are big eaters. Some can eat as many as 3,500 flying insects in just one night. Bats have a lot of food available to them. Most insect-eating birds fly and hunt during the day, leaving more prey for the bats at night. This bat is using echolocation to catch a moth in midair. Like crows, magpies often raid other birds' nests and steal their eggs. The big and the small. Frogs, lizards, and snakes are part of the miniature zoo in some backyards. Mammals such as squirrels and foxes also visit. Biologists divide the animal kingdom into two main groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates are animals with a bony skeleton inside their body. Invertebrates do not have an inner skeleton. Your yard is home to many invertebrates, including insects, worms, snails, and spiders. Rats live close to areas where there is plenty of garbage and other scraps to feed on. Dark face markings like masks, raccoons look like bandits. Their clawed paws make them excellent grabbers and good climbers. These baby squirrels depend on their mother to look after them. They will be able to learn or leave the nest when they are about 7 weeks old. Because they nibble and gnaw, rodents with their strong teeth are often unpopular guests. Sometimes forest mammals like skunks come to our neighborhoods and backyards, and they are also not very popular because of their spray. Reptiles, amphibians, these are fascinating animals that can also be found in the backyard. Turtles, lizards, snakes, frogs. In some parts of North America, there are even venomous snakes that we have to be careful around. Cottonmouths, coral snakes, copperheads, and rattlesnakes. They can be harmful with their venomous bites. Salamanders, amphibians, frogs, and toads. Isn't it time you find out what's in your backyard? Even the smallest of backyards can have so much interesting wildlife. You can put up a bird feeder and see if you can attract birds. You can get yourself a magnifying glass and look for insects. There are top tips for animal watchers. So much to explore. These are some of the words that are used in this book, words that you probably knew like predator, but maybe a word like diurnal that you don't know or haven't yet learned about an animal that sleeps at night and is active during the day. Here's an index of topics, and Dr. Jen Green put all of this together so that you would learn what it's like to see animals in a backyard. Crabtree Books offers many other titles that you can look for in this series and elsewhere. This is a picture of Dr. Jen Green, the scientist and educator who wrote 300 books for young learners about non-fiction topics. You can go back and spend more time with this book, Small Worlds in a Backyard by Jen Green, but more importantly, spend more time looking in the backyard.